mostly what you expect in return from meritorious action is not a material thing.
These lines are from the later poems of Rabindranath Tagore. The world-renowned Indian poet was referring to a candle lit in a temple.
Light of serenity is very essential to everyone. It originates from inside. It's the light of wisdom.
Sawadika, hello and welcome to another edition of Meditation for All, a show which leaves you feeling spiritually centered, uplifted and relaxed. And as usual, I am Chananporn Rotjan, your host for today. On our show this week, Venerable Nicholas Thanisaro will give answers to questions regarding Bunya Kiriyawattu, which he spoke of previously. I hope you find the topic more interesting and comprehensible.
So, the advice our Vice Abbot often left us with was that when we know that meritorious deeds can have an effect on our lives, we ought to try to build meritorious deeds, whether it's generosity, keeping the precepts, or meditation, into our life on a daily basis, because we know that habitual karma is stronger than karma on a one-off basis. And his advice to the people who come to our temple is that any morning, when you have not given alms to the monks, so you haven't given food in the bowl to the monks who pass the front of your house, don't dare to have your breakfast. Any day when you haven't intended to keep at least the 5 precepts, do not dare to leave your house. Any day when you've not done your meditation and your chanting, don't dare to go to bed. If you can fulfill these 3 things, then at the very least, you get all 3 forms of merit on a daily basis, and you won't run the risk of the merit in your life running out. So today we looked at merit. There is the opposite of merit, demerit, which can be collected up by doing bad things. We look at more of that tomorrow, and especially what we mean by bad things and how we can avoid it in our everyday life. That's for tomorrow's lecture. Okay. There is a little bit of time left in case anyone has any questions. Yeah, go ahead.
When they talk about when you rebirth, does it happen, say, if I die now, are you reborn sometime in the future, or does it vary?
From what I have understood, time doesn't jump back and forth. You're born at the same age in a different realm, that's all. So you can't go back in time or whatever by being reborn. Yeah? What are you feeling the cold a bit?
Yeah. The whole merit thing is a little bit confusing, but sometimes I look at it a little bit in strange mood, because I think sometimes people try to collect merit, but I don't think that they really do it to give. It's just to kind of comfortable that it's good for them afterwards. You know what I mean? Like already with the with the intention to give something, they're already thinking in receiving something good.
Yeah.
So I don't know, sometimes I think it's not about giving, it's more about, well, I just do that and it doesn't happen to me. But how do you see that?
There is a school of people who say that true giving is without any thought of what you receive in return. In fact, when you give something, really the important part of the intention is being able to let go of what you had before, with which you are now letting go with the intention the other person benefits from it. That should be the uppermost thing in your mind when you are doing an act of dedication like that. It shouldn't be a thought of what you're going to get back from it. But that doesn't mean that you don't have any expectations about how this gift may be helpful for you in the future. But the uppermost thing in your mind ought to be how you're helping this person who is receiving this gift from you. That should be the thing which is at the front of your mind. Mostly what you expect in return from a meritorious action is not a material thing. It becomes material when you talk about wealth or prosperity coming back to you. But really what you should expect from merit is something which is not material. It is fulfillment basically, but how that fulfillment happens, well, that's another story altogether. Most people, I think, are thinking not about this lifetime, but about lifetimes to come. And once we leave this world, material things have no more meaning anymore. When you don't have to earn a living anymore, where you don't consume material things anymore, where you don't get clothed in material clothes anymore, when you don't have a physical body anymore, then that's when merit really counts. Because it's only merit that can bring you the ability to survive, the ability to keep on living in realms where there is no material existence. But there are some people who, I think they think of their business and they give a little bit of generosity on the side in the hope that it's going to make a difference in their business life, to give that element of luck which they need when they are taking risks in their business so that they can succeed. I think that sort of person is not really understanding what we mean by merit. Because merit, as I said, is a very pure intention in one's mind. It's on the basis of very pure intention. Therefore, a person giving 100 baht with a very pure mind would not get the same amount of merit as a person giving 100 baht with a mind that is still concerned with, am I going to get 200 back from this or 500? It's not just the amount which counts, but it's also the purity of the intention. And the Buddha said that the person who has a mind filled with faith, before they give something, at the time they're giving it, and the time after they've given it, they have no regrets on their mind. This is a person who gets the maximum of merit. It doesn't depend on how much is given. More than that, the person who gives something which is pure, a pure gift, who is pure in themselves, so they have a pure intention, and also who have a pure recipient, gets more merit than a person who doesn't have purity in these three respects. So it's not just a question of how much is given or what is given, but it also depends on how it is given by the person. So a person who really understands how to make merit is not just someone who gets something extravagant to give, but must also take care of how their mental state is at the time when they are giving it. That the person will really maximize from the amount of merit, coming from that gift.
I have a question.
Yeah. Okay, strange one.
Can we quantify the amount of merits that we get from, let's say, making donation?
It is possible. And in the olden days, the great abbot of Wat Phak Nam, he would set Kunyai, the founder of our temple, to do this, to work out how much merit a person was getting from a particular gift, so that they could inform that person.
So you're saying that if, let's say if a poor person is, let's say, donating, let's say, 1,000 baht, right, and he's so poor, like 1,000 baht means a lot to him.
Yeah.
And versus a millionaire who is like a million baht donation, and it's very little for him. Would they still get the same merit?
No, they wouldn't. A person who gives something which is very hard to give, very hard to let go of, gets more merit than a person who gives something which may be a lot, but which it means nothing to them. So, why is this? Because you overcome more greed in your mind by that gift. So, the amount of money or the value of the gift is not proportional to the amount of merit which is given. But all things being equal, the bigger the gift, the more the merit. But if a very poor person gives their last meal, for example, sometimes this happens, like with this poor plowman, for example, who gave his lunch when he really maybe had nothing else in his house. Yeah? This counted for more than a king giving a pile of diamonds for the monk instead.
And what if someone borrow money?
Yeah.
For donation?
Our abbot says if a person borrows money to make a gift, the person who gets the merit is the one who they borrowed the money from, until they return the money. So, in our temple, we don't prohibit people from borrowing money to make merits, but it is understood that this should only be a temporary solution to the problem, and they should make sure they're not put in debt by the gift which they have given. Otherwise, it's the lender who gets the merit. Yeah.
Is it possible to purchase merit?
Purchase merit? Not directly, no, because it has to come through your intention. It's not just the gift which counts, but also the intention and your ability to let go of that thing. But some people have tried to make this comparison, that you're buying yourself a place in heaven by doing a certain sort of gift. But in fact, that is a very simplistic way of looking at it. As we've seen, it's not just giving things which earns merit. Yeah? You can do it by being pure in your precepts. You can do it by meditating more. You can do it by smiling to people. The sort of merit which comes from generosity through material gifts, okay, it only works if you are letting go of that thing, if that thing is of value to you. And you might mess it up by regretting it later. So there's more to giving than just letting go of something in your hand to give it into the hands of someone else. It's more than that. And if you understand the background and how this energy arises in your mind, then you realize that it's not as simple as picking up something on a supermarket shelf. Okay, one last question, I think.
I mean, I'm just going to carry on the same thing. I think for me, where it becomes a problem is the idea of deliberately trying to cultivate merit, to make as much merit as possible. It's that idea of maximising seems to have an element of greediness, because those merits are things that's going to get you basically things that will only happen in the three worlds. So only wealth, power, in terms of blah, 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 being all things in the three worlds, but only going to increase craving and greed.
But in fact, merit itself does eradicate craving from the mind, and merit is also needed for you to reach to enlightenment. So how the merit brings its fruits, whether it's as a new Mercedes or a longer life or more ease when you come sit down to meditate. In fact, merit can do all of these things. And this is why I haven't mentioned it so far, because it hasn't been in the notes. It's important when you make some sort of merit to make a wish that is going to help you in a way which is truly useful for you. It doesn't mean that you're trying to get more profit out of this merit than you deserve, but it means that we do good deeds with an aim. And the aim for us as Buddhists should be that we can break free of the cycle of existence. Along the way, okay, some people may wish for more or less of a convenient and comfortable existence, but ultimately what we're trying to do is to get pure in body, speech and mind. We're trying to work towards the path and fruits of nirvana. So if that's what you want, then when you do something which is meritorious, whether it be keeping your precepts, trying especially hard in your meditation, making a gift into the alms bowl of the monk, it should be in your mind that may this merit help me to
Because it's a better bodhicitta practice, where you also make wishes, but you also extend that wish every week. So, for example, you're in bad health, you want to make merit to make it in good health. You say, so may all beings enjoy good health. Never make it just for yourself. Everybody has the same.
And do you think it will reach them? Well, one characteristic of merit is that the merit will arise in the mind of the person who does the meritorious deed. Just as if you eat a plate of food, then it goes in your stomach. Just now, I missed my lunch today because I'm trying to control my weight. One of my monks who's a friend, he said, how about you rejoice in the merit of me going for my lunch today? And then you won't feel so hungry anymore. You think that works? No, it doesn't. You still feel hungry, okay? Because the person who eats the food is the one who gets full of food, right? And it's the person who does a meritorious deed who gets the merit. There's only one exception. And we met it just now with the fourth category of generosity, which is sharing your merit for the benefit of others. How can they get the merit? Because you were the one who did the merit.
Maybe he's a very higher meditator or imagined one. Only can say like this.
Well, the truth of it is, the way in which they can share in your merit is by rejoicing in the merit which you've done. So supposing your mum passes away and she is an angel somewhere around here and she is watching everything you're doing during your ordination. And when you make the wish, may my deceased mother also have some part of this merit of my ordination on this occasion. She says, Sadhu, I rejoice in the fact my son is doing this. I'm happy for him. Through her action of rejoicing, she gets part of your merit. Really, she made the merit herself. But the fact that you have opened up that merit for her to rejoice on, you've helped her in a way. But in fact, to share merit with all living beings, in fact, those living beings have to do the merit for themselves.
There's one thing we always do after meditation, or I was taught to always do after meditation, is to share the merit. Literally, you go through with your friends and your family, and friends, then everybody in the temple, everybody back up.
Yeah.
Spread out.
But normally we call this spreading loving kindness rather than spreading merits. But in a way, it's like through the power of your pure intention, you are spreading something, you are sharing something good with the rest of the world. But how much they pick up from that, it depends on how able they are to pick up on the good intentions which you are setting forth. In a way, it's like expanding your awareness to have compassion for all living beings. But it doesn't give them merit, but maybe it helps them to be a little bit less aggressive towards one another. Really, the strongest rule of merit is that you have to do it for yourself by your own hand for it to bring you benefit. It's not something you can delegate. So we spread loving kindness, but this is a form of meditation, and it's something which eventually filters through to the level of society and the world. In here it says it as well. You can see the sort of benefits which you can expect to bring to the world, but it doesn't happen as immediately. It doesn't happen immediately that after you spread your loving kindness, the fish stop eating one another or something like that. You know, it's something which very, very slowly will happen. But it doesn't mean it's a waste of time, but you know, we're making the world slowly a better place. And one day, if we have all the catalytic conditions in place, all four of them, then maybe we would see the results towards the world much more quickly than we would in the present day. But basically the most sure way to accumulate merit is to do it for yourself while you're a human being. Yeah.
One short question. Do we need merit to be able to make merit? And what sort of merit?
Sorry, can you say it again?
Do we need merit to be able to make merit again? What sort of merit?
Yeah, even to be here in the first place already requires a lot of merit. And for you to be able to see the value of doing merit must mean that you have merit in your past. So what we're doing is building upon our merit. If we didn't have any merit at all, we wouldn't be here in the first place. But we build on this merit which we have, which maybe makes us curious to ordain as a monk. We build on that to actually go through with it to the ordination. And hopefully, once we're a monk, we can build on that further by meditating better than we ever did before. So we build upon the merit which we have.
I feel that whenever I do some good things, I feel that I have nothing. I'm feeling like that I have to repay much.
You have to?
Like this day, I have received a lot of blessings.
Well, it's always it's both of it. We use up merits as we go through our life to be able to live for a month without having to look for any food. You know, people bring us the food the whole time. It's important that we behave well, so that at least we're not in debt as a result of all this which we are given. But for a monk, the way we pay back the debt is not in kind, but by practicing well, and if we have the opportunity to also to teach for the benefit, especially for those who have given some support to us. So it's an exchange, but it's not an exchange in kind. So I don't think you need to worry about that if you are satisfied with your own conduct, because you are doing something which they cannot do. Anyway, we better leave it at that.
During the rain retreat, candles are lit in temples where monks come and do their prayers. The same candle reminds Buddhist people that the time to ignite their inner light will soon arrive. In the next edition of Buddhist Culture, you will learn more about these candles of heaven called Tien Pansa.
Touch me with thy fire, burn and purify my life, and make it thy temple lamp. These lines are from the later poems of Rabindranath Tagore. The world-renowned Indian poet was referring to a candle lit in a temple. And here is a Buddhist candle that will be alight throughout the 3 months of the Buddhist Lent. A lit candle is a symbol of wisdom in Buddhism. It is an especially important symbol around the time of the Buddhist Lent, the 3-month period that lasts for almost the entire rainy season. In areas with substantial Buddhist populations in Asia, Indochina and Asia Minor, it runs from around August to October. And the Buddhist Lent is a time when candles must remain lit throughout days and nights. They remind Buddhists to ignite their inner lights and to touch or connect with the central point of awareness within us all. Certainly, a particularly large candle is needed. People expend great effort to create mammoth candles of extraordinary beauty. It is the season of candle processions, but only for these special-sized candles, of course. And people along the street can welcome and admire the candles, rejoicing in the merit of their creators. The candles tell people that the time to ignite their inner lights will soon arrive. And it is believed that a person who wants to gain wisdom should donate a big candle to the temple. They believe this activity can bring them not only wisdom, but happiness and healthy eyes. These candles we put in the monastery, so the temple has enough candles to brighten up the monastery throughout the season. But it is better to have only one big candle that lasts throughout these 100 days. The preparations for the Buddhist Lent combine a unity of purpose with well-scripted management. A spirit of peace is needed. The reverence for serenity will create the sacred light of wisdom. It seems as though people let their minds melt and mold with one another. They transform into a single candle of faith, waiting for the right time to become the glorious flame of wisdom. Tian Pa Sa is the name of this festive candle. Like the great Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore wrote in one of his later poems, "Touch me with thy fire, burn and purify my life. Lift my body and make it thy temple lamp. Let my songs be the oil that feed the flame." Yes, it is the absolute truth of Buddhism that ignites the inner light and provides a happy existence along the road of life with the passage of nights and days. And with the touch of the absolute truth, life becomes the lamp, the flame of wisdom in the flow of a bittersweet path. And the sweet serenity of mind that comes from meditation is the oil that keeps the flame alive.
Next, we will join Venerable Pia Silo for meditation to keep our inner light shining forevermore.
Time runs that fast, doesn't it? Welcome everyone to Meditation for All. Meditation time is coming, and it is the best time, the best moment of my day, and I hope you would feel the same. This is the best time of your day as well. Meditation is available to everyone, and if you are a newcomer, don't worry. Let's start meditation after we talk a little about it. Light of serenity is very essential to everyone. It originates from inside. It's the light of wisdom. In the physical world, the body and our life could get older and older, but with the light of serenity, life is forever young. And if you are quite ready, we will start to learn meditation and practice it together. And if you are ready, just take a good deep breath. Let's try. And gently close the eyes. Follow the deep breath inside the body, and in the middle of the body, in the middle of the abdomen. It is where the in-breath will go to the deepest point inside. I will call this, as before, as usual, the turning point. It is the turning point of the in-breath. This is where we call the station of peace. Allow the consciousness or the feeling inside to exist or to greet the turning point inside. So now we are inside with the centering mind. The mind centralizes itself and is now existing at this turning point peacefully. This is the origin of life, and according to Buddhism, it is always bright. The feeling could feel the brightness inside. The feeling is just how we feel and what we feel. We don't care about the exact happening. But the feeling says we are inside. It is something bright all around. This is the way we do softly in the process of meditation. Allow the mind to exist inside the body. Allow the mind be surrounded by the feeling of brightness all around. This is how we spend the beginning of meditation time for a while. The physical body of ours will get torn off over time. The physical being will be worn off over time. But the serenity, which is bright, I call this the light of serenity inside, is forever young. Physical body can grow old, but the internal being is just to grow aglow, always bright and shining over time. So welcome the feeling of brightness inside the body. Every time the mind is at the center of the body. It is the possibility of glow, of shining a glow. So take a rest your mind inside the body and go back to the original state of the mind. Amid the brightness, allow the mind to expand. Let the area, the volume of brightness expand and enlarge to an endless horizon. Allow the brightness grow bigger in an endless volume. Let this process of radiation continue. Amid the feeling of contentment in the brightness all around, big volume of brightness. The very center of the body is the brightest above all. The tiniest point in the middle of the brightness is like you can place a diamond in the middle of the full moon brightness. The round brightness of the moon is shining, and we can place the most precious and bright diamond in the middle of the full moon brightness. Observe the brightness of the diamond in the middle of the round full moon. This is the very origin of the mind. And in Buddhism, this is the station of brightness. Allow the mind to enjoy the diamond in the middle of the moon continuously for a while. Enjoy the bright diamond in the middle of the moon, and sharing this kind of brightness to everyone. Sharing is by radiating the brightness outwards to the environment. As we are a decorative items of the planet, imagine how beautiful the world, imagine how beautiful the world could turn if a single decoration on earth is so beautiful. A single one like we are is beautified by inner light. If everyone in the world enjoys inner light, the world could be beautified by the power of all. Enjoy expanding the brightness outwards. The area of brightness is now beyond trace. It's growing, expanding, bigger and brighter to everywhere. Wishing everyone on earth could one day enjoy their inner light. And of course, inner light, the light of serenity, could be achieved only by meditation. I would like to say congratulations to every of you, all of us, who give yourself a chance to gain inner light for your own benefit. Now enjoy the middle of brightness by observing the bright diamond in the middle of the shining moon always. Remember, the physical body belongs to the world. Remember, the physical body just belongs to the world. We can be older, we can be Remember, the physical body belongs to the world. We can get older and torn off and worn off. But the inner body, the inner being, is up to ourselves. We can beautify the inner being by meditation, and we could regain the inner light of serenity. So life is in our hands. We can make our life brighter and brighter by meditation. And we could make the world brighter as well by sharing the inner light by means of radiation of brightness inside. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready, you can open up the eyes so slowly. You can count down from 3 to 1 to 0. Take a deep breath again to reconfirm the existence of the turning point. You can prove to yourself by now that meditation time is the most precious moment in your life. This is the best time of your day. Congratulations. Until we meet again with brightness inside together. สวัสดี
That's all for now. We hope you join us again next week. Until then, have a bright week. สวัสดีค่ะ